plays on NA and is a Silver League player for Vortex. So, here we got our game starting up. Spawning in the lower left here on Frost, we have as our Orange Zerg, Hydro, listed as playing for TTUSC2, but playing right now for Outset eSports. Well, Outset Gaming. It's Outset Gaming and Vortex eSports. Anyway, so, spawning in the lower right, we have sOpsAEck playing as a Red Terran for Vortex eSports. Apparently, sOpsAEck is getting pretty good latency. Always a good thing to see with our European players playing over on the NA server. Get that production tab up for you. But yeah, it's nice to see I've got at least somebody watching live, Elvin Ashwin. So do you play with Chobo Team League? Which league you in? Which team you on? So is the Hydro sending out an early drone scout to make sure where his opponent is rather than just using overlords for it. And he's going to cross paths with this SCV, them literally traveling through each other. Gotta love that, them workers. So he is going to get in before the wall off, so he's going to get at both a full scout of the base and the ability to mess with this building SCV a little, but getting chased off by this other SCV from sOpsAEck. Yeah, it looks like we've actually got a few people here watching. That's always nice to see. Anyway, so this Overlord's still heading out across the map as Hydro, in fact, goes hatch first. Don't know if he just forgot about his first scouting Overlord or if he's sending it out there to scout for proxies or whatever, but not bringing it home just yet anyway. We have this SCV kind of poking around over here. Not sure if he's just there to scout for a third base or if he was thinking of trying to do some sort of fun cheese, but he's certainly not doing any fun cheese yet, just set on patrol here at one of the two normal third bases of Hydro. I mean, yeah, of Hydro. That was correct. Anyway. Hey. CT6, Gold League. Yeah, nice to see you. As I may have said before, I in fact play for Vortex, although I wasn't able to play in my match this week because my opponent wasn't available, so I kind of got a free walkover, but this week I'll be able to play. This is a cast from replays of the Week 1 match between me and Vortex eSports sOpsAEck and Outset Gaming's Hydro. This is the Platinum League match on Frost. So far we're seeing both players go with a moderately economic but not overly greedy build. sOpsAEck sending over a second Reaper to do some harass while Hydro's trying to deal with the first one. He hasn't lost any drones just yet, but yeah, there goes the first drone. He does lose one drone before this Reaper retreats, but he's mostly going to join up with his buddy, and they're probably going to try to get some things done. In the meantime, but the only other interesting thing on the map is the Overlord of Hydro there to get ready to get some scouting done. So these Reapers are able to get one more drone. But only 2 drones, not really that much, just little bits of poking. Hydro's still up 2 drones, as often is the case for a Zerg. Back home, we see the factory just about to finish up for sOpsAEck, as well as his command center for his natural, being built on location rather than in his main. Two more queens coming out for Hydro, just about to finish, so we're probably going to see some good creep spread going on. At the platinum level of play, I do figure players often actually get some good creep spread going. Also see those two Evo chambers both making a kind of a wall in case we're going to see some Hellion play. Which we in fact are, as we see Hellions on the way from this factory, which is set down onto a reactor. As well as Stim on the way, so chiefly bio play, but doing the typical harassment options, Reapers into Hellions. Those first Hellions most of the way across the map and about to head inwards. It actually was scouted by this Overlord, which is why which is why Hydro is responding to it so well, getting the partial wall off, having the Queens also there, and in fact getting down a Spine Crawler to mostly finish that wall off, leaving only this little tiny gap to go through. So a Queen will finish that wall off and pretty much completely batting away these Hellions. Not get much done. They do a little bit of damage to the building Spine Crawler, but Hellions don't have the best of DPS against such things. But these slow Lings coming out in the field, that's not the best of ideas for Hydro, as these Hellions will tear up those slow Lings. Realizing it, Hydro sends back the Lings for the moment, using the Queens to fight off these Hellions, which is exactly the right choice. He does lose one of his creep tumors. They are doing well at limiting the creep spread, which is another thing that Hellions are well known for in this matchup. But the creep is indeed starting to spread for Hydro. And with that pretty tight wall off, I don't really see the early Hellion aggression from sOpsAEck going much of anywhere. But it didn't cost him much of anything, and he is mainly going by. I've got those two eBays just about to finish up. One interesting thing for Hydro is that he only has +1 attack melee going on these Evos, not choosing to utilize that second Evo. Kind of an interesting choice. His Baneling Nest is just about done, and Lair Tech is almost completed, though. So this little harass force is going back to the second base of sOpsAEck. Deciding to use it for a little bit of extra defense rather than try to do some ineffective harass. Zergling's speed is finished up for Hydro, and he's going to take advantage of that to take pretty much complete map control. Especially seeing that those Hellions are gone, allowing the Zerglings to reign supreme. Got both +1 upgrades coming for our Terran player, as well as combat shields, Stim being already completed, and that first starport just finishing up. And with another reactor being built, probably for that starport to be landed onto, yes. That's using the factory to build a reactor for the starport. We're going to see those first medevacs come out pretty quick, as well as the typical bio composition out of our Terran player for Vortex. In the meantime, he's sending this little harass squad back out. Number of Banelings having been morphed in here for Hydro. Banelings, especially without the Baneling speed, not the best against Hellions, but pretty darn good against the Marines that he's sure he's going to see, because he's gotten some pretty good scouting information on Overlords. He's going to lose one of these Overlords, or it's having, in fact, he probably already lost another one over here by the look of things, having used creep to prevent a third from being made there. But these Speedlings are actually getting pretty good surrounds on these Hellions. Not complete surrounds, but they are slowly picking away at them and taking them out. Hellions trading very well against the Zerglings, but they do all go down. Yeah, it was a little better for sOpsAEck, but not by much. Speedlings do trade pretty well against Hellions if they can get that much of a surround. And these Speedlings coming down to take down this Marauder, who does take down a Zergling or two on his way out. Choosing to head back onto creep. Centrifugal Hook's just about done for our Zerg players, so Hydro's just about to have his ground upgrades pretty good. +1 Carapace also almost done, and +2 melee attack on the way, finally utilizing both of those Evo chambers. Well, getting down some static defense, whereas our Terran player is just about to finish up that armory so he can go up to 2-2, as well as generally continuing unit production. You see he's now up to 5 racks, all of which except one seem to be going for reactors, one with a tech lab and the other 4 being reactored. So that's a good amount of production for sOpsAEck. I'm going to see a whole lot of Marines. Going to be a very Marine-heavy army, which makes those banelings worth their weight in gold. Those nice golden banelings going on. Hydro heading across the map with his ground army, also having his first Mutalisks on the way. Be able to deal with those medevacs. Also more queens, and his 3rd base is up and saturated. Actually, his 4th base is on the way now. This is putting Hydro at a bit of a lead with, although the supply is very similar, he has 3 base saturation and a 4th on the way, but this drop could spell the end of that. This drop, there's absolutely nothing right here to defend it. His army being across the map with the Zelnaga Watchtower, getting a lot of good damage done. That's a lot of drones being taken down and a few more being pulled. They might actually get this hatch, but the Zerglings are indeed running it on the way, and rather than decide to try to fight the Zerglings, he picks up and runs off before doing that much damage. But he did get a number of drones there. Try to remember what workers lost was. Yep, there. sOpsAEck now having managed to kill Hydro's workers, 9 in that attack plus those 2 earlier. But this drop is found by the early Mutalisks of Hydro, and one medevac goes down. Both medevacs go down fully loaded. Well, one of them manages to drop an SCV. That isn't going to do much against a pile of Mutalisks. That drop completely taken out. Now, in the meantime, another drop coming down for sOpsAEck in the middle of Hydro's main. But that one also being cleaned up as those Zerglings were already pretty much in position thanks to the earlier attack and the Mutalisks taking out the medevac. So lots of good attempts at drop play by sOpsAEck, but it being pretty much completely ineffective. Losing a lot of resources for pretty much nothing. Some very good play by our Zerg player Hydro, and that creep spread is now getting pretty far across the map. I mean, it's certainly not pro level, but it's pretty good. These Zerglings are finding these Marines in unburrowed Widow Mines across the map. If those Widow Mines had been burrowed, that could have been disastrous, but they were just hanging out there with their Marine and Marauder buddies. I guess they're just being rallied there. Still making good use of that Zelnaga Watchtower, and his creep Hydro is extremely good map vision compared to sOpsAEck, who has somewhat mediocre map vision. He's sending out single Marines to try to get some scouting done, but the Zerglings at the Watchtower take them all out. Now he scans and sees that army hanging out at the Watchtower. Having lost those Marines, he's probably going to send him up to see what bases he had. And Hydro seems to... This base was cancelled probably by one of those drops, but he's now taking this 4th up here. But anyway, sOpsAEck still hasn't taken a 3rd at all. In fact, I don't even think he has the 3rd CC down. So just committing to this 2-base play against this rapidly expanding Zerg. It's not looking that great for sOpsAEck at this point. He's trying to get another attack done, trying to get another drop done, but these Zerglings and Banelings know what's up, and there seem to be a ton of Zerglings on the way, even if they take the time to kill one of their own creep tumors. Kind of a bit of a misclick there, but this drop not being extremely effective. I think that was a spine crawler that they just killed, but there's just too much Zerg for those drops to be effective. He's got Zerglings and Banelings all over his base, and with these mutas' speed and the speed of the Zerglings themselves, this drop play is just being completely ineffective for sOpsAEck, and with him with that many extra resources lost and having been down 1 base and now being about to be down 2 bases, it's not looking very good for our Vortex Terran player. The supply may not be that much different, but and both players do have 2-2. I mean, he does have the chance to come back if he can succeed with one of those epic drops or something, but +1 flyer attack about to finish for our Zerg player, as well as 40 more Zerglings. And Ventral Sex for those Overlords. Pneumatized Carapace for those Overlords. Overlord speed. +3 infantry weapons on the way for our Terran player. +3 not on the way yet for our Zerg, not having transitioned up to Hive Tech. Number of Widow Mines burrowing, not really getting that much done. Taking down 3 Zerglings. But trying to push all these Zerglings and Banes off of the Silnaga Watchtower. The Widow Mines could be the exact thing to do that. Pushing back the creep just a little. But chooses to back off with his force as the Overseers arrive so they can see those Widow Mines and take them out. In the meantime, the Mutalisks have been hanging out, probably trying to do some harass. Yeah, they were doing some harass down at this third base. Got a few SCVs, I'm pretty sure. Check the tab for that. Yeah, he's actually, Hydro's up to 10 workers killed. So, another drop up to the new 4th base of Hydro. Going to be a little bit more effective than some other drops, but not really, as there weren't really any drones here to kill yet, and they certainly aren't going to be able to snipe the hatch. There just isn't nearly enough there. Man, sOpsAEck, you need to send some more in if you're going to try to do drops like that. Send some more in, focus the hatches, something like that. Because with this Zerg player's map vision and the extreme speed of his composition, he's just able to deal with those drops so easily. One of the medevacs does get out to tell the tale, but all in all, drop play just not being very effective for sOpsAEck this game. Widow Mines do get themselves burrowed, but with only a few Zerglings and Banelings forward, using just small numbers to defuse the Widow Mines. And it's very good play by Hydro, knowing that the Widow Mines are there. This Widow Mine has not yet gone off, but still some very smart play. And just holding this Watchtower and holding the edge of creep. Nobody wanting to engage onto the other's territory. Bit of a standoff going on here at the Watchtower. Zerg being pushed back just a little for a moment, but not wanting to head in and possibly lose large numbers to those Widow Mines. All the Widow Mines now having reloaded. Our Terran player chooses to step forward, and the Zerg player, seeing that, moves forward while the Widow Mines aren't burrowed. Great move by Hydro as his superior army just tears apart these Terran forces. Now, one interesting thing is that our Terran actually has more workers out on the field right now than Hydro. Hydro having chosen, rather than droning up his 4th base very much, to head directly into very heavy Zergling production, which worked out very well for him. sOpsAEck GG's after that conflict, and that's the end of that one.